Introduction to the full summary of proposed updates for the UDL Guidelines 3.0. Hi, everyone. I'm Jenna Gravel.
And I am Nicole Tucker-Smith, and we are currently serving as co-chairs of UDL Rising to Equity, a community-driven process to update the UDL guidelines through an equity lens. The UDL guidelines are a living and dynamic tool, and this updating process is part of the continued evolution of the guidelines.
And we are so excited because after more than 3 years of conducting focus groups and working with our advisory board, Guidelines Collaborative, and Young Adult Board, we are sharing a full draft of the next iteration of the UDL Guidelines, UDL Guidelines version 3.0, this spring for public comment.
Prior to the release of the full draft, we are offering a summary of the proposed update. We hope that this summary is helpful to ground the UDL community and practitioners in the overarching themes and the rationale behind proposed changes. So without further ado, let's get to it.
So several overarching themes have emerged from the focus group data and reviews of the research. One of the biggest themes is the need to recognize identity as part of variability and to more fully emphasize the role that identity plays in teaching and learning. Another overarching theme is to more fully emphasize the value of interdependence and collective learning.
Yes, and in addition, there is this overwhelming need to acknowledge individual, institutional, and systemic biases as barriers to learning without limits. And there is also a call to shift from teacher-centered to learner-centered language.
And strong themes have emerged for updates for each of the 3 UDL principles and the corresponding guidelines and checkpoints as well. There were clear calls for expanding multiple means of engagement to affirm learners' identities and lived experiences, to incorporate the role of belonging, and to emphasize the role of joy and play in teaching and learning.
And it is evident that we need to expand multiple means of representation to consider perceptions of people, culture, and intersecting identities. There's also the need to value multiple ways of knowing beyond Western approaches to knowledge.
Yes. And in terms of multiple means of action and expression, there is a clear call to center and value forms of expression that have been historically silenced or ignored, and to address the role that bias plays in offering modes of expression.
We've also identified some concerns around the concept of expert learning. The word expert implies ideas of exclusivity and elitism, and it can fail to recognize the brilliance inherent in every learner.
So we have created this summary document to highlight overarching updates and to share the why behind those updates. We've included quotes from focus groups to center practitioners and other community members' perspectives, and we've also included examples of research that have inspired the changes.
We'd love for you to consider sharing your thoughts via the survey embedded in the summary document. Since our launch in 2020, we have been committed to a community-driven, inclusive, and transparent updating process, and we are eager to learn from your feedback. These past few years have been quite a journey, fueled by the hope that the UDL Guidelines 3.0 update will bring us closer to fulfilling the promise of learning without limits.
Find the full summary of proposed updates at bit.ly/UDL3-summary. Share your thoughts. Please complete our survey at bit.ly/UDL3-survey. CAST, until learning has no limit.